This is a DPV, a diver propulsion vehicle, an underwater scooter, whatever you want to call it. And I know what you're thinking, those things are huge, they're expensive, and a pain to travel with, but not this one. This is the Waydo Subnado, the world's smallest DPV. And I've been running it in Roatan and Key Largo to figure out if something this small is actually worth putting in your dive bag. Let's get into it. First things first, the size of this thing is genuinely shocking. I mean, it's tiny the first time you hold it. We're talking throw it in your check bag, put it in your dive bag, show up at a dive boat, and nobody bats an eye small. That alone separates it from every other DPV on the market. Now let's be clear about something up front. This is not a rocket ship. If you're looking for a full-size scooter that's gonna blast you across a reef at speed, this just isn't it. But that's not what the Subnado is trying to be either. And once you understand what it actually is, it starts to make a lot more sense. So I ran this thing in 3 different configurations, and each one changes the experience a little bit. I did dual leg mounted, so both units, one strapped to each leg, and you propel it hands-free, except for this little ring-shaped throttle. And it works, it actually works really well, but to be honest, it feels a little bit restrictive strapped to your legs. It's just a little bit awkward. And your body position matters a lot in this configuration, and it takes a while to get used to. Then I went dual tank mounted, so both units, one mounted on each side of my tank. And you trigger them with the little ring finger that sits right in your hand, but it's so small that it's basically like it's not even there. It allows you to have both hands available for your camera if you want. Now, the wing on my back plate would suck up into the inlets, so it did slow the Subnado down just a little bit, but that's a me problem, not a Waydoo problem. And then you can put the handles on them and do it handheld with a single unit or duals. And it's simple, it's effective, and it's great for divers who want the assist of a DPV without committing to a full-on mounted rig. Here's where the Subnado genuinely surprised me. DPVs make underwater camera work dramatically better. I've known this for a while, but always had the camera mounted to the front of the DPV. But this time I carried my camera rig the way I usually do, but with the DPV strapped to me. When you're swimming, your footage has tiny movements in it. Your kick cycle, it creates some jerks. You can't hold a perfectly smooth line while you're chasing a fish or flying over a reef. You're just working too hard to keep up and move. On the Subnado, that goes away. The reef flyover shots I got are some of the smoothest footage I have ever captured underwater. Following fish, holding a line along a wall, staying right on a subject without burning through energy, just trying to keep pace. And because the tank and leg mounted configurations put the trigger right in your hand that you're holding the camera with, both hands are basically free or on the camera the entire time. You're not holding a scooter, you're just flying with a little finger throttle. We had a day in Key Largo where the surge was brutal. First dive I went in without the Subnados, and I worked my butt off the entire dive, fighting the current, burning through my air faster than what I wanted to. And then the second dive, I strapped one of these to each side of my tank. Complete different experience. I relaxed, my breathing slowed down, I let the Waydoo do the work and just focused on the dive. And I towed Gunner around so he wasn't burning through his air too. That alone is a compelling argument for any diver who has ever cut a dive short because they burned through their air, fighting conditions that they had no control over. My son Gunner got his hands on it, and he was diving with it in the pool on a breath hold, just a single one with the handles, and he didn't want to give it back. And that kind of opened my eyes to something I hadn't even considered. These things are light enough that they don't really sink you and pull you down in the water. And Waydoo even makes a buoyancy sleeve for them, which means they are great for snorkelers. If you have someone in your family or dive group who likes to snorkel while you dive, the Subnado changes their experience completely. They can actually keep up. They can cover ground. They can have their own adventure on the surface while you're down below. That's a use case I was not expecting, and it's a legitimate one. The travel argument for the Subnado is simple. It fits in your dive bag. You can carry it on a plane, you can throw it up on a dive boat, and the crew is probably not even going to bat an eye. We love our full-size DPV, but anyone who's ever traveled with one knows it's a full production. Like, you've got to carry oversized cases, you pay baggage fees, and then you got to explain yourself to every dive operator that you're going out with. None of that with the Subnado. It goes where you go, no drama. So here's my bottom line on the Waydoo. It's not the fastest DPV on the market. It's not trying to be, What it is the smallest and lightest DPV I have ever used. And in the right configurations, it genuinely changes the way you film underwater and the way you manage your air. If you're a traveling diver, an underwater filmmaker, or someone who's always wanted a scooter but couldn't quite justify the size and the cost of a full unit, the Subnado deserves a serious look. As always, the links for all this is gonna be in the description. And so get out there, dive, and if you get one of these, let me know in the comments if you had fun with it. Hey guys, I'm Jeff, and this is Generations Below, and I've got some huge news for you. Generations Below started as a way for me to share my passion for diving with my son Gunnar, who we certified at just 12 years old. Watching his transformation underwater changed everything for me, and I fell in love with this sport and what it gives back to people. That's why we founded the Next Gen Divers Foundation. Our goal is simple: to give kids access to scuba diving who would never get the chance otherwise. Next Gen exists to fund junior diver certifications and their first set of essential gear. Kids can train with the dive shop they choose, and we reimburse the cost. And through our relationship with dive brands and the funding we raise, we will help put them into their first real dive kit. Every diver sees firsthand what our oceans are up against, and every diver, whether they realize it or not, becomes a conservationist. Next Gen Divers Foundation is a federally recognized 501c3, and all donations are tax deductible. You can donate once or become a monthly supporter of the cause. If you want to truly impact the next generation of diving, help grow the sport, and protect our oceans and reefs while giving kids something to be proud of, support the Next Gen Divers Foundation, donate below, and we'll see you down there.